I had some students having difficulty with how to put the labels where they're supposed to go. And so I thought I'd make a short video to kind of maybe do 2 problems just so that we know what we're doing. So first things first, I would ask myself, what is the part and what is the total? Usually these are the 2 starting points so that we know what we're doing. And so if you look at the part, it's going to be, not 100%. So the only part I see in the sentence is 15%. If you look at our total, it should be 500 because that's the total amount that we're looking at. So you have the part and I have the total. So I know that I should at least have one set of zeros. And whichever one you want to put as on top as a percent, it doesn't really matter. So percent can go on top or it can go on the bottom. As long as you have it consistent throughout the bar, that's all that really matters. So I'm going to have a 0% here. And then the total of 0% has to be 100%. And so you have from nothing to the whole thing. Similarly, we should do the same thing on the bottom. So if we have $0 on the bottom, we should have the total, which is $500. And so it looks like this. So now what I'm going to do is kind of look and try to cut my number lines into certain chunks. And so I know that 100% is up here, and I need to cut it into 10 equal chunks. Well, 100 divided by 10 is 10. So now that for every little bar, I'm going to write 10%, 20%, 30%, and so on and so forth. And I know I already told you this, but even though it's annoying, let's try to write the percent sign every single time. That way we're never confused on if we're doing percents or, the normal numbers, the dollar signs. So we found out what we should count by, what intervals we should count by on top. Now we should do it for the bottom number line, which is our 500. So in the same way, we know we have to cut it up into 10 equal chunks. And in case you didn't know, 500 divided by 10 is 50. So I'm going to skip count again. 550, 100, 150, 200, 250, and so on and so forth. And so now I have my completed number line, my completed percent bar model. It has everything I need. And all I need to do is ask myself, what is 15% of the paycheck? Well, I know halfway between 10 and 20 is 15%, so it's halfway between 50 and 100. To do that, I want you to find the average. And if you remember, average is when you add the 2 numbers, which in this case is 50 and 100, to be 150, and then you divide by 2, which should be 75. So the answer you should have gotten is $75. So 15% of her $100 total is $75. Sorry, I don't know if I said it wrong. 15% of her $500 total should be $75. All right, let's do maybe one more. Number 5 was tricky, or number 3 was tricky, but we already talked about that in classroom. So let's talk about number 4 over here. My first 2 questions, again, what's the part? What's the total? In this case, our part should be 20%, and our total, the entire thing, should be 60 minutes. So, how many minutes of commercials were there? Great question. This time, I'm going to have my percent be on the bottom. So remember, if this is nothing and this is a whole thing, it must be 100%. In this case, we're talking about minutes. So if you have 0 minutes, the total should be 60 minutes. Because we're talking about the whole thing, the 60 should go over here. Please remember, if you don't know what to label these by, it's not really a big problem. Just divide by how many little pieces you have, which is in this case 10. 10 goes into 66 times, and so we're going to be doing multiples of 6 to do this. So I'm going to do 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, I think, 48, and then 56. 10, even though I know this, I'm going to do it again. 100 is divided into 10 pieces 10 times. So again, even though it hurts my hand, I'm going to write the percent signs. That way I'm not confused between 30% or 30 minutes. Okay, and then last but not least, I'm going to look. I know I'm looking for 20% of the time. So 20%, that one was easy, it's 12. So the answer should be 12 minutes. And there we have it. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask me in class, but I just kind of wanted to have a video so you can take your time, maybe pause it, maybe redo it, just so you can see my work behind what I was doing. All right, thank you for your time and have a great day.